Top of the morning to you. It's St. Patrick's Day 2016. Today I'm embarking on a journey of discovery. I'm going to hit as many craft beer locations as I get my hands on today to see how we celebrate St. Patrick's Day in the Mid-Atlantic. So sit back and enjoy the ride. I begin my day at Barley Hops Restaurant and Brewery in Frederick, Maryland. This is one of my usual haunts, to be honest. I got up bright and early to take advantage of their pancake buffet. A little too early, I guess. I definitely beat the crowd. Barley and Hops would literally set the tone for the St. Patrick's Day holiday. So I'm not just hitting a bunch of bars today. I'm actually on a secret mission to look for two stereotypical Irish styles. One being a dry stout. The other is the Irish Red. Now this is an amber colored ale meant to be very, very crisp and clean. We're talking lager levels. And so here at Barley and Hops, I'm trying the new McDowell's Irish Red that they've just put on tap this week. Yeah, we've accomplished exactly what I just described. Clean malt profile. A little extra bitterness, which is permissible in style technically, and it's also really appropriate for the American palate. This would make a really fine pint. Time to move on, as the road rises to meet me on my way to downtown Frederick, Maryland. A cozy, welcoming, colonial downtown area. Heck, they even invited the Scots to an Irish holiday. I wanted to visit an honest-to-God Irish bar, and I walked in with high hopes of finding some local beer. Alas, no local beer to be found, for shame. Might as well discuss the 800-pound red-haired gorilla in the room, Guinness. Alright, so it wouldn't be a St. Patrick's Day episode if we weren't going to discuss Guinness. So I went ahead and got one. Now the big question, should avowed beer snobs like us bother to try Guinness? Do we admit that we like it? Well, here's the thing. This is one of the most centrally identifying beers of Ireland, a dry stout. And Guinness has owned the style for a century and more. What is it about the dry stout that makes it Irish? Well, as it turns out, in a very key time, Ireland couldn't afford to get the brown malt from England, so they elected to get the black malt, which created a roastier, more dry beer. It was a matter of economics. It became a national identity. It's a very hollow beer. You get roast on top, you get a smooth finish by virtue of the nitro, but there's not a lot in the middle. And that's the way it's meant to be. Something you can quaff, you can drink in quantity, and it gives you the dry roast in your mouth. There are all kinds of other beer styles out there that fall in the stout category that have a lot more quality to them. So the short answer is, should you drink local or should you get Guinness? You should drink local. So a bit of an unexpected stop today. Old Mother Brewing in Frederick is relatively new. A couple homebrewers have decided to go pro. And I noticed today they have a red ale on tap as I drove by. So I said, hey, why not? Let's give it a shot. Old Mother has a kind of Portland, Oregon vibe to the place. Here we got the Irish Red here at Old Mother, the one that caught me off the street. A bit murkier than we saw in Barley and Hops. But what about that malt crispness I've been looking for? It's got a lot of malt girth, a lot of caramel, but a lot of ale character as well, which is within the style. And here we're getting more of a classic bitterness level you're looking for in an Irish Red. Not too aggressive, not too American. And of course, we just talked about Guinness, so let's talk about a proper local stout. This is the oatmeal stout at Old Mother. I came here about 6 months ago, and this was the standout at that time. And still is. This is a remarkable stout recipe. This is the kind of stout you want to drink if you want to drink local. It has a lot more character, a lot more malt girth, a little more alcohol. This is not the hollow flavor you get in a Guinness. This is an enjoyable beer. About time I left the state of Maryland for the state of Virginia and Mad Fox Brewing down in Falls Church. They have a gorgeous restaurant, and they're definitely ready for St. Patrick's Day. So it looks like I really lucked out today at Mad Fox. They have both an Irish Red and a dry Irish Stout on. I managed to grab a pull of the dry Irish Stout first. So let's see how this compares to Old Mother up in Frederick, Maryland, and to the Guinness that we tried earlier. This is certainly a dry stout. Very roasty, not sweet at all. Dry as a funeral drum. The finish carries a lot more of the roast into the back palate than the Guinness does. Another thing this does is provides you with a little bit more alcohol than you get in the Guinness, and a bit more carbonation. This is also on carbon dioxide as opposed to the beer gas that you usually get with the Guinness. So it's a little more jagged, a little more rocky, lots of roast character. Beyond that, it's what you expect from a dry stout. Shepherd's pie? Yes please. Now we'll try the Irish Red. Like Old Mother, it's a little murky. Makes me wonder how crisp and clean it'll end up being. We'll find out. Despite its appearance, there is a much more crisp, whip crack cleanness to this Irish Red. Like with Barley Hops and Frederick, this is more lager-like than ale-like. Very clean, hardly anything from the yeast. We do get, similar to Barley Hops, an aggressive bitterness for the style. I'm assuming this is an interpretation for the American palates. Personally, I would like something a little more malt forward in my Irish Reds, and I haven't gotten one yet today. Perhaps that's the times we live in. In any event, I'm going to enjoy this one. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Taking little samples of the stouts and the red ales all day has left me wanting a little bit. So I went ahead and treated myself to the Slobber Knocker here at Mad Fox Brewing. It's an American barley wine. Let's see how his rates. Lots of punch, lots of floral hop aroma, and a lot of candy-like sugar flavors in the malt bill. It's a very enjoyable snifter beer. Something I can use right about now, honestly, because looks like the party's about to get started. Things are really starting to get swinging around here. Unfortunately, I have another stop to make. So off I go again. Well, it's been a long day. I find myself in my last stop at the Corcoran Brewing Company here in Purcellville, Virginia, in the shadow of the Blue Ridge Mountains. I met Kevin Bills, the head brewer here, a couple of weeks ago when I shot the BJCP episode. And so I thought I'd come and give his brewery the chance. And since he's doing something for St. Patrick's Day late in the evening, on this nice, gorgeous sunset, it's about time I relax a little bit. So here we go. I got the full flight from Corcoran. I did include the Irish Red and the Irish Dry Stout because that was my mission for today. Let's see how they compare. Irish Red, once again, a bit murky. I'm expecting a lot more clarity in my Irish Reds. Now let's see how they rate with the bitterness. Well, as it turns out, a moderate bitterness and a whole lot of yeast esters. Probably the muddiest Irish Red I've had today. Unfortunately, it's not quite what I'm looking for in Irish Red. How about the Stout? The Sláinte Stout seems to be the theme of the day, right? Somewhat sweet for a dry stout, to be honest. This is pushing milk stout territory. I don't know if this is a function of the recipe or the function of the fermentation, but a very sweet stout. Enjoyable, but not quite what you're going to expect from a dry Irish stout. I got a few extras. The Doppelbock for one, which was recommended by the brewer. Luscious, lots of malt, a sweet, crisp, high alcohol lager. That's an enjoyable drink. And to clean the palate with a little bit of an IPA, I thought I'd try theirs out. Very nice. Surprisingly nice. Very clear. Lots of hops on the nose. The bitterness is aggressive, but it does not build up with any kind of tar or alpha acids. And once again, I always give credit where credit's due when it comes to sours. This place has several sours on tap, and so I thought I'd try this one out. It's called the Funk U. Let's see how it goes. That could be my favorite beer here. It gets you watering right in the corners. An ample amount of sourness, which sometimes you want more of from these commercial sours. This is excellent. I would drink this in quantity. Ah. So, wouldn't it figure? St. Patrick's Day, I end up in Purcellville, Virginia, digging on a sour ale. Still though, it's been a heck of a day. I can't wait to do this again next year. So thanks for joining me this week on the Beer Atlantic, and I'll see you next week. Cheers. Aaron, go bra, right? I went braless today. I don't think anyone noticed.